Fitin10 Nation, welcome to day 22. And if you have not, and that is you are a participant of our current challenge, if you have not sent in your feedback, please make sure you do. Look in your latest macro email, and the link for your feedback is in there. Send it in. A lot of you have not done this. Have you done yours? You haven't done yours either. All right. Okay, Martina, what are we going to talk about here today?
Perceived plateaus.
Perceived plateaus. All right. Are you at day 21 or day 22, I should say, and you think you've hit a plateau?
No, first I have to do everything right. We both know it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is actually kind of ridiculous to think that you hit a plateau in the matter of, well, in fact, you wouldn't. This is obviously coming from last week because that's when we did the first check-in. Comparative assessment, or first check-in, you could say. Mm-hmm. So for any of you who don't know, we do a first assessment on you, and then after that, it's comparative check-ins every 2 weeks. So we had our first one last week, and this idea that people have plateaued or that things don't work is kind of ridiculous statement, unless you were already doing everything we told you to do prior to the challenge, and so therefore there is no relative change. Then yeah, okay, you're not going to see the change. But nothing is done in vain. You don't go from not exercising to doing 3 cardiovascular sessions with a relatively high heart rate, 3 weight training sessions, and then restricted calories, and then there's no change. Things just don't happen that way. Mm-hmm. Martina, you want to add anything to that?
Nah.
All right. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so this idea that things aren't working. Now, just on that topic, if you didn't see a change in your weight in 2 weeks, well, this is normal. Your weight is not a reflection of your body composition change, okay? You can easily lose fat, gain muscle, and, well, that's actually not the best example. You can easily, let's say, no change in muscle mass. Mm-hmm. No change in muscle mass, lose fat, and your weight doesn't change. Mm-hmm. This is very, very easy, especially if we're only talking about a couple pounds of fat loss. Obviously, if you lose, 15 pounds of fat, well, you're gonna see that difference in your weight, okay? All right, Martina, let's move on to another topic here. Conflicting nutritional advice. This is a great one, actually.
But actually, we wanted to talk more about the fact that some of you may be expecting to lose, 7-10 pounds within the first 2 weeks, and that would take drastic measures that we're not condoning in this particular fitness project, right? This is not what we're doing here.
Yeah, the original Fitin10 plan, the one that we're doing right now, and there's going to be others that come about, but this original plan, the challenge that we're running, is not for those of you, and this is probably everybody, including our clients, even though I mention this to them over and over again, mm-hmm. It is not a fat loss maximization program. We're not trying to maximize fat loss. We're trying to create sustainable habits that are going to have long-term impact on your body composition. Mm-hmm. And by doing what you're doing, especially from where you're coming from, you're going to see that change, unless, like I mentioned in the beginning, there isn't that relative change because you've already implemented a calorie-restricted lifestyle and you're doing exercise, etc. This idea that, well, I can follow another program and I'll get better success. Of course you can. I can give you less calories. I can give you more work to do. You're going to make more progress. But what we're trying to get to is something that is more sustainable.
Absolutely. You don't really want to do, an hour cardio every single day. You don't want to be loaded, with 5 training sessions per week, as long as you're not able to continue with that in the future. You don't want to eat 800 calories, right? You don't want to drink so much water that you lose your sense of hunger. There's so many things that one can do to lose weight, but this is not what this program is about at all.
No,
even though we achieve some great success.
Yeah, that's the whole point. The whole point is to show you, especially if you're coming from a background where you haven't been doing anything, that you don't need to take drastic measures to lose that first 20 or 30 pounds of fat. This is the whole point. If you're somebody who's trying to get into contest shape, for those of you who don't know, Martina and I both have a competitive history. That's a little bit different. When you're trying to get to sub 8% body fat, that requires, some drastic means. But this is not something that we're trying to, project as a healthy lifestyle. because clearly it's
It's
not.
not.
So, but what I'm saying is a lot of these challenges or even just diet help that people get or exercise help is often quite extreme. And again, this just reinforces a lot of what's already currently out there, you know, and this is just not sustainable, very, very frustrating. In fact, sets you up for failure
100%.
and potentially sets you up for even worse of a rebound. That is, you're going to gain even more fat in the long run. We'll talk about that in the future video. So, you know, again, Fitin10 is not a fat loss maximization program. It is simply, we're trying to teach sustainable habits, reasonable amount of exercise, and hey, by the way, look what you can
achieve.
Look what can happen.
Yeah, when you make that kind of change. And then, you know, it's so educational. You know that even if people don't lose the 30% required of their muscle mass, one of the things that we always get in our feedbacks is that...
Fat mass.
Oh, yeah.
30% loss in fat mass.
That we get always a lot of compliments about, you know, how educational, like even this entire lifestyle. And it's so, like, there's one more thing that it has always helped me with. I think I may have mentioned this before, but it sort of gives me like a sense of purpose. And so when everybody, and I understand now why you do it like year round, is because when things are not going so well in my life, this is very controllable. And it's actually, it gives you like a sense of a strength, of empowerment, right? To know that you have something to do. Like I look forward to waking up to do my cardio. I look forward to, you know, achieving the goals that were set for myself, to eating what I said I was going to eat, you know, to succeed in those small aspects, step by step.
Yeah, you know, the other major thing that we're trying to enforce here is you always want to get, in this case, you want to put in the least and get out the most, so to speak, right? So we want to make minimal calorie deficit. We want to implement minimal amount of exercise. I mean, 4.5 hours a week, because I wouldn't say it's minimal, but what I'm saying is
especially when you don't do it.
Okay, well, that's a whole other topic, which we should probably talk about. The whole point is to put in the minimum, but still get the results that you're looking for, right? So we don't need to go pedal to the metal. We just need to put in a little bit and then see the change. You know, it's funny because the people who have the greatest fear of doing this challenge, which, well, one group of those people are people who are highly overweight. Those are actually the people that are going to do the best in this challenge, simply because they're already at a super high calorie intake. So we don't need to go super crazy, right? If you're taking in 5,000 calories on average per day, you know, simply going to 4,500 is going to make a huge difference.
Indeed.
And you're not even going to feel it.
So, but you got to know it, though.
But you got to know it, yeah. So, and you got to trust it. And you've got to trust in the fact that, you know, not losing, you know, 6 or 10 pounds in a week is still progress. You have to add up the weeks.
It's not a plateau. I mean,
plateau. Yeah. I mean, you know, if you lost somewhere between, you know, 1 and, you know, 3 pounds of fat in a week, that is tremendous. This is huge progress. And obviously this is going to depend on, you know, how much body fat you currently have. Yeah. All right, Martina, I think we are at that point where we need to get to the message of the day. Change equals
opportunity.
Change equals opportunity. You can't have that opportunity unless you implement change. But if you implement change, you are going to see, as we talked about in the beginning of this, you are going to see, especially if you implement the pillars that we do in this challenge, you are going to see change because you are taking advantage of that opportunity, right? The opportunity. But you can only see the change if you implement it. You cannot obviously self-sabotage. So it's really, really important that you are 100% honest with everything that you're doing, right? And we've seen that. I've seen this time and time again. I've even got people to admit to it after not admitting to it, you know, that there are certain things that people will do. There are certain things that people will do that will sabotage, that for whatever reason, whether maybe they just don't want to admit it or they don't, they've convinced themselves that doesn't make a difference. You want to look at the camera, please? Thank you. Okay, so anything you want to add to that?
No, we can talk about it another time.
All right.
Okay.
Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude. And we will talk to you all very soon.